Today we're making lemon blueberry cookies. These are perfect for summer. They're sweet and they're tart and absolutely delicious. They've got no chilling time required, so let's get baking. Hi, I'm Tara and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making these lemon blueberry cookies. And at first I was like, do I really want to make cookies in summer? But then I started thinking about lemon and blueberry and I'm like, this could be a cookie that I could really stand behind. So today we're gonna get started. Make sure to sit out some butter ahead of time. That's the only thing you need to really do before the recipe starts. I'm using salted butter, but you can use unsalted butter too. But just make sure to get it room temp before you get started with all your other baking. And we're also gonna start with a 350-degree oven. For this recipe, I am using Wyman's wild berries. These are a giant bag. I know I couldn't find anything smaller in the freezer section, and I knew that I wanted to use frozen berries for this recipe. I like the wild berries because they're small. Sometimes like with regular blueberries, you just get these giant ones, and you definitely need frozen for this recipe. If you use fresh, it's just gonna get like too watery. So see if you can find these. The good thing about it, it was kind of expensive. I think it was like $14 or so, but it is a giant bag and these are great for smoothies or, you know, whatever else you want to make. You also want to keep your frozen berries in the freezer until we're actually ready to use them. Okay, so for our dry ingredients, we've got all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of sea salt, half teaspoon of baking powder, and a half teaspoon of baking soda. And we're just gonna give this a good whisk. We're gonna be using a stand mixer for this recipe. It's just easy and I've got one. If not, you can use a large bowl and a hand mixer is totally fine. We just wanna make sure that our butter is nice and softened to room temp before we go ahead and cream the butter and sugar together. I always like to beat my butter for just a second before I add my sugar. Just in like a really low speed, and I'm using the beater attachment for this recipe. And then we're gonna add in our brown sugar and just regular granulated sugar. And I've got everything linked in the description as far as recipe ingredients go and the amounts. And then we're just gonna cream this together on low speed. And I like to scrape down the sides a couple times while it's creaming together just to make sure everything gets really blended. Once that gets nice and fluffy, we're gonna add in our egg. And then the vanilla. And then we're gonna add in lemon juice. And this is fresh lemon juice. Once we get that mixed in, we're gonna add in about half of our flour mixture. And then we're just gonna blend that on low until it's just mixed in a little bit. We don't wanna over mix here. And then we're gonna add the rest of it in. Then we're gonna mix this just until it's nice and incorporated. Next, we're gonna add in just a half a cup of white chocolate chips. And then just turn this on low just to blend them up. You can also just stir these in if you'd rather, but I just find this is the easiest way to do it. Lastly, we're gonna add in our frozen blueberries. I just pulled these from the freezer, so they're still super cold. And then I like to just use a spatula like this to just kind of incorporate them, and it is going to turn the batter purple. It's just how it works. So, and you can just stir these in. I find that if you do it like this, it's a little bit better. It doesn't turn it as purple as if you use the mixer. But just stir those in. You can always just like pop a couple of them into the actual cookie too whenever you put them on the cookie sheet. And one of my favorite things about this recipe is it doesn't require any chilling time. So we're just gonna go ahead and scoop our dough. I like to do them like probably like a tablespoon and a half worth. And I'm using a full cookie sheet right now. You can definitely just use 2 half sizes too. That should be totally fine. And if you find like the blueberries are like kind of popping out, just stick them back in the dough. It's no big deal. And just give them a little bit of space between each one. Once I get them all on the cookie sheet, I like to just flatten them with my hand a tiny bit. And then I'll just add a little bit of lemon zest to each one. Remember to save some for the next batch too. And then I like to add some coarse sugar to each one too. Okay, now these are gonna bake for about 13 to 17 minutes. You just wanna keep your eye on them. If you made it on the bigger side, it's gonna be closer to 17. If they're small, 13. And while that batch is baking, I'm gonna go ahead and get my second batch ready. This makes about 15 to 18 cookies, depending on how big you roll them. These just came out and they look so good. They're very blueberry-ish. They look like kind of like a blueberry muffin. Once they cool off. They're hot still, but you can see they're like kind of cakey inside. They're so good. I'm gonna get stains all over my shirt. That's it, we're all done with these easy lemon blueberry cookies. My second batch definitely came out a little bit more blue. They're still perfectly delicious, so who cares? Let me know in the comments if you guys decide to make these. I hope you do. And make sure you subscribe so that we can keep cooking together. I post new recipes every single week. So subscribe and let's keep cooking together. I'll see you next time. Bye.